John 2, 1 through 5. Jaden, you got Luke 3, 21 through 23. Jared, you have John 2, 1 through 5. Chasey, I need you to find John 11, 38 through 44. And then I have more for y'all to have after that. All right. Find it. Thank you, sons. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for being the man that you are and being the God that you are. Dear Master, thank you so much for all of the healing that you did, dear Father, and continue to do, all the miracles that you did and continue to do, dear Father. We take this moment right now to celebrate the life of Jesus Christ as it was on earth some 2,000 years ago, and celebrate you as a God from infinity to infinity. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Which one did I have?
Okay. You have John 11, 38 through 44. John 11, 38 through 44. So if y'all think about it, and I should say good morning to folks that are experiencing this lesson with us. Happy Resurrection Sunday. This is a very holy day for us in the Christian faith. And it is a holy day because this is the time that we celebrate Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection. Did you find it, Jason?
No.
I need you to find John chapter 11,
Oh, wait.
38 through 44. 11, 38 through 44.
Yeah.
Got it? You got it?
Yeah.
All right. So we spend a lot of time, and rightfully so, we spend a lot of time on Resurrection Sunday talking about Jesus' death, burial, resurrection. What I wanted to talk about was kind of in the tradition, West African tradition, which is the New Orleans tradition. I want to celebrate the life of Jesus Christ. You all know that for these past weeks, we've been dealing with what's the mega theme that we've been dealing with?
Corona?
not in the environment, but I'm talking in these Bible studies that we've been dealing with.
Leadership?
Leadership, absolutely, Chase. Bless you, son. We've been dealing with leadership, and specifically, we've been dealing with manhood because Dada and Mommy has 5 sons, so we've been dealing with leadership as it relates to manhood. So I got to thinking, there's such a dearth of manhood sons out there. I mean, there just is. A lot of men around here. I mean, the way I was raised, the way Papa Ed and Papa William and Grandfather Kenneth and Uncle Greg and Uncle Rick, I mean, I was just so blessed to have so many men to pour into the lives of me and others. And so there's a certain way that manhood is to be depicted, and it's just not so. And I don't want that for you all. So that's why we're taking these times. So what does that have to do with today's lessons? I got to thinking of the men that I hang out with. There's a reason why, Chase, none of the men that hangs out with don't take care of their children. Jada, no men that Dada hangs out with doesn't take care of their wife. And Jared, none of the men that Dada hangs out with doesn't provide for their home. There's a certain type of man that Dada now hangs out with. Now, when I was younger, not so, but when you get older, you should do better. And so it grieves me when I'm around men that don't subscribe to these tenets. So So then I got to thinking about Jesus in this celebration of his life. And you know what I thought? I would have hung out with Jesus. I mean, I would have loved to hang out with Jesus. Jesus was a man's man. Jesus attracted leaders to him. His disciples, they were great men in their own right before they took on being disciples. In order to inspire followership like that, you must be some kind of leader. And as a man, you got to be some kind of man. So I just want to celebrate the life of Jesus, and I want to deal with why Dada would have hung out with him and why you should hang out with him too in a spiritual sense. All right? All right, Jaden, let's deal with where it all started, Jesus' ministry as an adult. We know Jesus was born in a manger and all that, but let's deal with Jesus as an adult, where his ministry started. Luke 3:21 through 23.
Now, when all the people were baptized, it came to pass that Jesus was also being baptized, and praying, the heaven was opened, and the Holy Ghost descended in a body shaped like a dove upon him. And a voice came from heaven, which said, Thou art my beloved Son, in thee I am well pleased. And Jesus himself began to be about 30 years of age, being as was supposed the son of Joseph, which was the son of Heli.
Right. So what do you get from that, Jaden, or anybody else? What do we deal with in those verses about the character of Jesus? What does that tell you about him?
He comes from God.
Come from God. I want you to set this picture. You have voices coming from the heavens, God's voice raining down upon that scene, saying, This is my son of whom I'm well pleased. I would have hung out with Jesus because Jesus clearly was close to God. Wouldn't you want to hang out with somebody that's close to God? Yeah. I mean, I know you're young now, and maybe that's not a factor in your friend picking. Probably has more to do with athletics and music and stuff. I mean, I get all that. I'm not necessarily here trying to change that instantly right now, but I want to plant the seed that soon, son, you need to hang out with men and women who can get a prayer through, who have some attachment to God. I would have hung out with Jesus because he had some attachment to God. There's also, so that's explicit, so that's in the text, you can see that. What's implied is this part. What do I mean by implied?
What they don't directly tell you, but you're supposed to know.
Absolutely, that you can infer, you can pick this up. Who was baptizing Jesus?
Or was it his brother?
Brother in the faith. It's John. John the Baptist, we call him, right? Doesn't this show? So John the Baptist was the man, by the way. Like, he was so much the man that people thought John the Baptist was the Christ. Some people mistakenly thought John, even though he kept saying over and over, no, someone, y'all, look, I'm nothing. I'm preparing for somebody that's going to be much better than me. Jesus allowed John the Baptist to baptize him. One that shows he's holding to the order of things, the Judaic law of him being baptized. There's also there's a level of humility there. I mean, Jesus, don't forget, the same Jesus God is speaking to him. He's got an attachment to God. He is God on earth, and yet he's letting a man baptize him. Isn't that a level of humility? Yes. Yeah. I like hanging out with cats that are humble. I like to hang out with men that are humble. So that's another reason why I hung out with Jesus. Jared, go to John 2, 1 through 5. Let's deal with this part, this aspect of Jesus.
2 days later, there was a wedding in the town of Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there. Jesus and his followers were also invited to the wedding. When all the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." Jesus answered, "Dear woman, why come to me? My time has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you to do." That's 1 through 5.
Yeah, that's okay. We can flesh it. So y'all heard about this story, right? When Jesus turns water to wine, right? This is that story. But I dealt with this 1 through 5 part. Keep it open, Jared. If you want to go back to it, I want to deal with this coming of age of Jesus, right? So read again for me. Read again verse 3 and 4.
When all the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." Jesus answered, "Dear woman, why come to me? My time has not yet come."
Yeah. So let's just deal with it in parts. What's going on here? What's happening
They ran out of wine at a wedding.
at a wedding? It's very traditional, and even to today. I mean, you want a celebratory. You want to have wine and food, and there was no wine. Now, Jesus' mother knew Jesus the Christ. He's the chosen one, and so she's coming to him, asking him to do something about it. But look at how Jesus responds to his mother there.
When all Jesus answered, "Dear woman, why come to me? My time has not yet come."
What does that mean?
I don't know.
So you got a few things going on here, right? You have Jesus coming of age, and there's going to be a part. I don't want y'all. I want you to mind your words, but there's a coming of age here. Jesus basically saying, "Look, I'm your son, but I got work to do, and really that work, the work that I have to do, that doing miracles, you're forcing me into doing something that my time has not yet come for." You understand what I'm saying? You forced me to do a miracle for this wedding. Now, but you're my mama, so I'm gonna do it. But there is an order to things. So you see, at the same time, Jesus ain't no mama's boy. He's not a mama's boy, but he respects his mother. Let that sink in. He's not a mama's boy, but at the same time, he respects his mother. This is a really difficult one that many men never, quite frankly, many men never get over that. There is going to be a time in your life. All right. Do you remember, Queenie, maybe you ought to tell the story. You remember when we went to see Phoenix on the base?
Yeah.
So tell that story. So what happened? So tell that story a little bit.
When we were out at night, the night before his graduation.
Right. Chase, you hold it so mommy can.
See how it feels.
Yeah.
So we went to Phoenix's graduation, and the night before, the night before his graduation, the family had all gathered, and I was so upset about Trump, and I was talking bad about. That's what you want me to talk about?
Yeah.
I was upset about something that Trump had done, something he does every day, but that particular day I was upset, and I was saying something about him being a foolish president, and in Phoenix, he hadn't even graduated from basic training yet, and he got up real firm, and he was like, you will not disgrace my president, you will not disgrace my commander in chief.
Right.
And it just took me so off guard that he was helping up for Trump. But I guess, that's what he had been trained to do as part of his basic training. And so I had to kind of stand down because I didn't want to get him in trouble. I think he was scared that maybe some of his superiors might have overheard me bad mouthing their commander in chief, or perceived him as being a part of that. And so, I just had to kind of back down and respect his position at that point.
Exactly. So, and oh, by the way, I would hang out with Phoenix too. I love my sons. In that instance, I know you, but believe it or not, I know, man, y'all laugh, but I'm saying, bro, like, really, I love y'all as men. Even now, even at this age, in Phoenix and Zion, I would hang out with y'all. There are some fathers who don't want to hang out with their sons, and there are some sons who don't want to hang out with their father. So I know it sounds laughable because I'm that dad, but believe it or not, everybody ain't trying to hang out with their sons. I would hang out with Phoenix because Phoenix is a man's man. That was a very manly thing he did. He was respectable to his mother, and at the same time, he ain't no mama's boy. He did the right thing. And then we all followed Phoenix's lead there because Phoenix, he's the military man. We're on his base, so he took charge and he should have took charge. Same thing that Jesus did. Later on in these verses, it talks about how Jesus' mother, who was Jesus' mother? Mary. Mary told the servants, hey, whatever he says to do, you do. So this is just a coming of age. And each one of you are gonna have these moments where you just come of age, where there's something that this is your domain, this is how you need to lead it, and mommy and daddy are gonna have to defer to it. This is a part of becoming a man. This is a part of becoming a man, though. The reason why daddy doesn't hang out with all men, a lot of men haven't crossed this bridge. And you got men in their 40s, 50s, 60s who still mama's boys. They've never crossed this bridge. Daddy don't hang out with them. Daddy would have hung out with Jesus, because Jesus ain't no punk, he ain't no mama's boy. But he respected his mother. All right, let's read a little bit more about Jesus. Here's a deep one too, Chase. Go ahead with yours. John 11:38 through 44. While you're finding that, by way of review, Daddy would have hung out with Jesus, and you should hang out with Jesus too, because Jesus is and was the anointed one. You had heavens open up, guys talking to Jesus, directly to Jesus, and telling you, Jesus is my son of whom I'm well pleased. So hang out with people that are at one with God. Secondly, Jesus ain't no mama's boy, yet he respects women and respects his mother. Not a mama's boy, but he respects his mother at the same time. This is a higher level manhood trait. But hang out with men that ain't no mama's boys, but respect their mother. Go ahead, Chase.
Jesus therefore again groaning in himself cometh to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Jesus said, take ye away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, said unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh.
Hey, go give them yours. I want you to read it in the children's. There's a lot going on here. To then have to read it in yeah, do John 11:38 through 44. I don't want you getting caught up in the words of what's going on. 38 through 44.
But some of them said, if Jesus healed the eyes of the blind man, or no, I don't know.
38.
Again, Jesus felt very sad in his heart. He came to the tomb. The tomb was a cave with a large stone covering the entrance. Jesus said, move the stone away. Martha said, but Lord, it has been 4 days since he died. There will be a bad smell. Martha was the sister of the dead man. Then Jesus said unto her, didn't I tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God? So they moved the stone away from the entrance. Then Jesus looked up and said, Father, I thank you that you've heard me. I know that you always hear me, but I said these things because of people here around me. I want them to believe that you sent me. After Jesus said this, he cried out in a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. The dead came out. His hands and feet were wrapped with pieces of clothes that he had a cloth around his face, and he had a cloth around his face. Jesus said unto him, take the clothes off him and let him go.
Yeah, he's healed now. So we got a lot going on with it. This is Lazarus, by the way. And the story before this, Jesus was afar off. They came and got Jesus, the disciples. There was some thought that Jesus would have been there quicker, Lazarus would have died. So there's all this faithlessness around. This is a lesson, though, that faith works across distances. This is also a lesson that we, each of us, we have the same power that Jesus has. We have this power in faith to even raise, I'm not talking in a metaphoric sense. I'm talking literally raise people from the dead through prayer and faith. This is an example of that. And he says it right there. Go to 41, 42. It also shows that Jesus always teaching. Even in this moment, Jesus is teaching.
So they moved the stone away from the entrance. And then Jesus looked
41, you on verse 41?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Then Jesus looked up and said, Father, I thank you that you've heard me. I know that you always hear me, but I said these things because of the people here around me. I want them to believe that you sent me.
Right. So he's teaching them. He knows that God hears him. Remember his beginning of his ministry. This is my son whom I'm well pleased. There's a connection there. There's a unbreakable connection. He's praying out loud so that others can be more edified, can be more built up, and so that their faith can increase because of his prayers. So why do you think mommy and daddy pray aloud around here?
So others can hear.
Who's the others? Chunk.
Jared.
Jared. Not you. But not Jason. Right. Yeah, we pray aloud so that everybody in this house and even beyond this house can be edified. We know that we can get a prayer through, but we want you all to know that not only we can get a prayer through, but that y'all can get a prayer through. This is a situation where Jesus was a healer. I definitely want to hang out with people that are healers. He's physically healing. You can't do no better, man. He's literally bringing Lazarus from the dead. Healer. He's literally teaching others at the same time to be faithful. He's a teacher. And he's literally a doer. He is doing what he said. He's not just yapping and talking. So that brings us to another leadership trait. I'm tired, sons. Dada, as a man, I am weary. I'm tired as a man because there's something that's happened in my life. Y'all think Dada's old. Dada ain't that old. I'm saying from the time when Dada was your age to now, there's something very peculiar that's going on with manhood and the way we lead. I'm talking black folks now. We're in the middle of a crisis right now. It would be as if someone's dying, like Lazarus is dying and dead, and there is no compassion. There's no one running to the aid of Lazarus or his people. It talks about how Jesus literally, in your first verse, it talked about how he was grieving in his spirit. I'm grieving in my spirit because it feels like other leaders don't even care. So I would have hung out with Jesus because Jesus cared about people and he cared about their affliction so much to heal them and to come running to do something about things when he was called. And I want you to be those type of men, and I want you to hang around those kind of men, men who are doers and not just yappers. You got me? So that's the first. That's the first three. We have some others. We'll save it for next week. Let's just talk about what you learned today. Go ahead, Jay. What did you learn today?
That when you become a man, you like it's different basically from being a child.
Yeah.
Like there's a point in your life that you change.
If you learn that, then I taught well. That's a lot to learn. That's a lot for you to get. Proud of that. Go ahead.
Jesus was humble when he got baptized.
Yeah, the fact that he let John the Baptist baptize him showed a level of humility. Good. Jason.
Whenever you're a man, sometimes you have to defy your parents respectfully, though.
Respectfully. Yeah, okay. I'll take it just like you said it. I'll take that. Good one, Jason.
In choosing our friends, we should look to Jesus as the role model. Look at the qualities that he possessed and look for those same qualities in our friends.
Yeah. And as a father, what I don't know if I guess I'm learning that there's been a change, and I have to father in a different way, and I got a manhood in a different way. I have to do these things in a different way. There was a time when I could look to this organization, and I could just go along with them because they were already doing. We're in a weird transition right now, where Dad, I can't wait. I have to be the leader. Jesus is the is the organization I got to hitch my wagon to. So there's enough in this word for us to figure out, and then when we find others that are of like mind, we just hitch our wagons to them too. But in the meantime, I cannot fail you as a man because others aren't doing what they're supposed to do. So that's what I'm learning. All right, that's good. And I hope you all learn too that Jesus isn't and wasn't a punk. I celebrate the man that Jesus was. I celebrate that, man, I hang out with Jesus now, but I would have hung out with Jesus then. That would have been beautiful to hang out with Jesus when he got baptized, hang out with him when he healed Lazarus, hang out with him, the other miracles that he did, or just to hang out with him even when he wasn't doing miracles. I mean, to attract all of these men and all of these followers, he must have been a great man. So I celebrate the life of Jesus, and in our Western African tradition, I celebrate him, and I would be looking forward to dancing with him and everything else, because I'm pretty sure Jesus was a dancer too, coming out of that Davidic line. So hopefully you all got something from this lesson. It's a blessing for me to teach and utilize the gifts that God has given me, and it's a blessing for us to come to your homes from our home. God bless. Please have a wonderful Resurrection Day. Let's celebrate the life of Jesus. Do a second line for Jesus. All right, y'all. All right, now we're gonna go to Find for Me, Jaden. Find for me Matthew 26:17.